painted. I would say don't look too close, but it doesn't look too bad from a distance, does it? Yeah, so the entire car has been painted. Possibly could do with a little bit more flatting than it's actually had up to now, but I'm going to pause on the paintwork at this point and do some other stuff, and frankly drive it around a bit, although probably not today because it's been wet. But yeah, it is now looking the best it's ever looked in my tenure. So now to kind of try and use it a bit, but just one thing before I do that, and that's that noisy wheel bearing. So here we are in the rear wheel arch, and here is my rear disc conversion. So once again, this is an MGC axle, which is the same as an MGB axle, albeit with 5 studs. This is, I'm starting to forget now, this is a BMW disc, and this is a Vauxhall Insignia caliper. I think that's right. So there is an electric handbrake built in. Anyway, I'm not going into that right now, but you can look back on my back catalogue. So, in any case, I've loosened the caliper off and taken my spacer off, which is what pushes the wheels out to the outer limits of this wheel arch. And now I'll take the disc itself off. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, right, that'll be fine. Right, so there is the disc. And now I need to take the hub out off. Notice the extra long studs, by the way, to fit all this spacery business in. These are metric Ford Escort Mark II studs, which fit perfectly into the MG hub. I mean, perfectly. Have to be metric ones because the older Imperial ones are slightly smaller and they become a loose fit. Anyway, that is ancient history, really. So I need to get this split pin out. So let's see if I can get this off. I may well cut this if it's not particularly cooperative. In fact, I think I probably will. Let's just see if it shows any signs of coming off. The problem is the raggedy ends. Oh, that bit's actually snapped off anyway. There we go. Okay. I shall be using a new split pin right now to get the castellated nut, which is quite a large one. Right, so this is my, what is it? 1.15/16", which is perfect fit. And it's a 3/4 inch drive, so that came off amazingly easily. So now the hub comes off. Right, this is where I have to, because I need to get this off, and I'm going to need to research how to do that, I think. Alright, so get the, I guess this is the oil seal outer clamp arrangement for the axle. So let's get rid of that. That's also the retainer for my adapter. Well, this is the adapter itself for the rear caliper. Now this thing is the outer cover, and you can see the oil seal in it as well. So I just need to get something in there, I think. Let's see if I can separate these two sections. That wasn't too much bother. So that is the oil seal retainer. Probably have a new one of those. Now we have some drippage of axle oil, but that's okay. Does this pull out? I don't think it's going to, is it? So the bearing looks like it's retained half by the axle and half in this retainer thing. So somehow I need to get the half shaft out, which could be a challenge, and I'm sure it's going to require the castellated nut to go back on. Ah, yes, I know what I can do. Yes, this should be a doddle actually. I'll put the hub back on, and then I can use my slide hammer to pull out. Actually, I'll do it with the, I'm not sure what these cone shaped washers particularly do, but might as well stick it in there. So now that there's nothing holding the bearing in apart from friction, I should be getting my slide hammer on that, so I shall do that. Get the slide hammer. So this is the slide hammer. Now of course I've got 5 studs, which makes life just a little bit more tricky, because I can't quite get it on symmetrically. Okay, that should do it, I think. I'll just see if you can see. Can you see? I'm going to move you slightly further away. All right. So hopefully this will pull out the half shaft. It's coming. I'm just going to put something on there in case I get a flood of oil coming out. Right, not the ideal catch can, but hopefully there won't be much, or maybe not any. There it goes. Take the slide hammer off. I don't think I could have done it without this. So here we have a half shaft. Lovely. And this is the bearing. I shall demonstrate the noise in just a moment. So here it is. I mean, it's not dreadful, but it's not good. So let's change it. So I've got the half shaft in a vise, and I've got my cheapo eBay puller, which I'm going to put on thusly. Whoop. There it goes. Oh. It wants to slide off. And I'll do a bit of centralisation of this bolted section here. Don't think it actually matters that much, but I might as well. That should do it. You know, I actually had, I bought this quite a while ago and I couldn't remember what it looked like, so I had to go to my eBay order to have a look, and I had completely forgotten that it came in this rather nice red box. So that's why I couldn't find it, because I wasn't looking for a red box. Yeah, I see. So the long section needs to go on first. Followed by the short section. And the short section has this longer threaded piece, which is what I need to put that onto. That goes on there. Okay, so now, yes, washer, nuts, and then we have this great big long thing which screws right through the middle. There we go. Of course, it's going to take me a while to wind in. Nearly there. Okay, and now we can say there is a bit of pulling going on. So I think I shall use my impact driver, and that looks like possibly a 19, could be a 17. I was expecting this. I did a couple of little whizzes with this impact driver, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite this easy. Yeah, that's the wheel bearing off, and that was about 100 times easier than I expected. In fact, the most complicated and difficult part was assembling the puller. Alright, so that's the bearing and that conical thing. So I just need to take this all to pieces now. Oh, actually, yeah, so that's the... Can you hear it? No, it's not awful, as I said before, but could be better. So I just need to replace this with a new one. So I've tapped on the new bearing, which if you listen to it, that's silent versus the old one. Hope you can hear that. Oh, I've just noticed this. In fact, I was wondering about that. I thought it was part of the bearing. Right, so this might make a difference to something. I'm going to have to research that, because I'm not sure whether I put the bearing on the right way round. So it looks like I'm going to have to take my bearing off again, because this thing, which is the spacer, which I thought was part of the wheel bearing itself, this wheel bearing, the old one, it turns out it's a separate piece. And yeah, so that's an error that was spotted before it became an error. So now I'm going to have to do all that business again. Okay. Yeah, so in actual fact I can see why the spacer is required. So if I point you down here, there's actually a slight neck. There's a curved section in here. Obviously it's for stress relief. They don't want the end snapping off. So that's what this is for, because it's got a taper. So that sits in there. And there's no stress because that's a separate piece. Right, so yes, I did think it was a bit odd that this appeared to have got an extra bit on it, but in actual fact it was separate. And I can tell you that this was probably twice as hard to get off as the original one was. But hopefully it will go straight back on again without too much bother. I'm just going to tap it down. Good, right. Right, that'll do for that. Right, so now put this back on. And the reason, especially if I'm doing it without the end cap on the axle, I should put that in there so I don't lose it, is because I anticipate some problems with the next stage. So the problem I'm anticipating is being able to get the splines on the diff, which are right down the bottom of this tube, engaged, and I need something to get hold of. Whether this is going to be sufficient, who knows. Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it's gone in. I was expecting that to be a problem. I thought I was going to have to tip, which is really hard work. Anyway, I shall get a hammer and I shall tap that in, and we can move on to the next stage. Maybe it's in as far as it goes. Right, let's take this off now and get the end casing, end plate back on again. So I have actually fitted a new oil seal on here. And unfortunately the conical part here seems to, maybe it's even designed to help fit this So I have to remember how to put this together. Ah yes, that looks right. Yes, I think actually both those pieces I had made. So that's just a spacer in reality. So I now need to find my 14mm for my 14mm socket. Well, of course 14mm is near as damn it the same thing as 5/8 of an inch. So I'll just need to make that little lock line up. For the moment there's not enough thread coming through. Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty, so that is the wheel bearing changed. Alright then. So what I was doing wrong is the disc needs to go on first. So on goes the disc. So the spacer goes on after the disc, not before the disc. And now I need to find the mountings. That's always the most difficult part. Got two of these things to put on. And the second one's usually a lot easier. Okay. All right. It's back together. Just need a wheel, and that's a job done. So that's it really. That was just one niggly type of problem I had noticed last time I drove. But essentially, that's it. Well, until I've driven it and discovered other problems. There's some tiny things like Gilbern. Oh, the reversing camera doesn't work yet either. I don't know. It's all quite minor stuff now. Obviously I'm pleased that the car has at least been driven already, so I haven't got to carve any more out of the bodywork as I did. It's surprisingly little actually. I had a little bit of trimming to do in the rear arches, which, considering the spacers which have been fitted front and back, was quite minor actually, and the front as well. I forgot the front, where I slightly moved the wheel arch. And let me reposition you there. Yeah, so this wheel arch, the wheel wasn't central in the wheel arch, so I actually extended it backwards, so there's a little bit of a lack of roundness. But what else can I point out? Of course, the front spoiler arrangement is completely new. I have used bits of Mark III Invader for the wheel arches. These kind of spat things. Let me show or point out. So those are not part of a Mark II Invader, they're part of a Mark III Invader. But This front spoiler arrangement is actually cobbled together from bits designed for an MGB. You might say that's quite appropriate considering some other parts of MG in here as well. If you got as far as this, thanks very much for watching. And in case you haven't already, please do consider subscribing.